Dear second prep, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's Mr. Ahmed Mahmoud with you today to introduce a new lesson. Today, inshallah, we have Algebra. The lesson will be Unit 1, Lesson 7. It's called Operations on Real Numbers. In this lesson, inshallah, we are going to learn how can we add real numbers and how can we simplify an expression formed from real numbers, and we are going to learn the properties of addition and subtraction, and inshallah we are going to learn how can we multiply and divide real numbers and the properties of multiplication and division. Let's start the lesson. First, we have operations on real numbers. We start with addition. Okay, we have some examples. We are going to explain how can we add on this example. Number one, if we have here 2 root 3 plus 5 root 3 minus 3 root 3. Here we have three real numbers. The three numbers are like because all of them are square root 3. Okay, in this case it's easily to add them by adding their coefficients to 5 and the negative 3 like this. We have here the coefficients 2, 5 and negative 3. 2 plus 5 equals 7 minus 3 equals 4. Then we are going to write 4 in the answer like this, and then we are going to drop down root 3 here like this. Okay, again we add the coefficients, okay, and then drop down the root. Another example, if we have 6 cubic root 7 plus 3 cubic root 7 minus 4 cubic root 7. Also we have here three like roots, root 7. Okay, now we are going to add the coefficients 6, 3 and the negative 4. 6 plus 3 minus 4 equals 5, and then we are going to drop down the cubic root 7 beside 5 like this. Okay, now we have the properties of addition. The properties of addition, the first property with us is called the additive identity or additive neutral, and this is constant number which is 0. Okay, we studied before in the 6th primary and first prep the additive neutral or the additive identity which is 0. What does it mean? It means that if we add any number to 0, the result doesn't change like this. If we have 2 root 3, for example, plus 0 equal 2 root 3 without change as it is. Okay, the second property is additive inverse. Additive inverse means we change the sign of the number like this. If we have 2 root 3 plus its inverse negative root 3, we change the sign of the number. The result will be 0. Another example, the additive inverse of the number 5 root 2, it's negative 5 root 2. Then, to find the additive inverse, we are going to change the sign. Now, we studied the addition and its properties. Okay, next we are going to study the multiplication and its properties. In the multiplication, for example, if we have 2 root 3 times 5 root 7. Here we have multiply two real numbers. Okay, I'm going to do what? I'm going to multiply the number outside the numbers outside the root together, and I'm going to multiply the numbers inside the root together like this. We are going to multiply 2 times 5 which is equal 10, and I'm going to multiply 3 times 7 which is equal 21, and it's stay inside the root. Again, I'm going to multiply 2 times 5 together, it's equal 10, and it will be outside the root, and 3 times 7 and together it will be inside the root. Another example, if we have 3 cubic root 5 multiplied by 4 cubic root 3. Now I'm going to multiply the whole numbers together, okay, 3 times 4, which is equal 12, and I'm going to multiply the roots together. Root 5 times root 3, it's equal root 15, cubic root 15 as it is. Okay, another example. If we have 5 root 3 all to the power of 2, in that case, to expand this bracket, I'm going to distribute the power among the numbers inside the root. Okay, I'm going to give power 2 to 5, which is equal 25. 5 power of 2 equals 25, and I'm going to give power 2 to root 3, which is equal 3. Here we have 5 root 3 means 5 times root 3. Then here I'm going to write time. Okay, 5 power of 2, 25 times root 3 power of 2 equals 3. Then I'm going to evaluate this one. 25 times 3 equals 75. Okay, then if we have a real number to the power of 2, then we are going to distribute the power, but if we have inside plus or minus, we can't distribute the power. We are going to learn how to do it in the next examples, inshallah. Now we are going to explain the properties of multiplication. The first property with us is called the multiplicative identity or multiplicative neutral, which is 1. Okay, what does it mean? It means when we multiply any number by 1, the number doesn't change like this. 2 root 3 multiplied by 1 equal also 2 root 3. Okay, another property, the multiplicative inverse. The multiplicative inverse, if we have any number like 2 root 3, for example, to find its multiplicative inverse, we change the number upside down like this. If we have 2 root 3, its multiplicative inverse 1 over 2 root 3. When we multiply the number by its multiplicative inverse, the result will be 1. Another example. If we have 5 root 2, if we need to find its excuse me, okay, number like 5 root 2, if we need its multiplicative inverse, we are going to upside down this number to be 1 over 5 square root 2. Now we have learned how to multiply two real numbers like this, out time out and in time in, or whole number time whole number and root time root. And if we have power 2, we are going to distribute. The multiplicative neutral is 1. The multiplicative inverse, we change the number upside down. Now we are going to solve problems about the addition and multiplication of real numbers. Now we have example 1. Find each of the following in its simplest form. The first one we have here root 3, okay, and 2 root 3. Okay, it's equal. Here we have two like roots. Okay, here we have 1 root 3 plus 2 root 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3. And I'm going to write down the root without change. The next one, here we have 5 cubic root 7 minus 8 cubic root 7 plus 2 cubic root 7. All of them are like. Okay, I'm going to add 5 minus 7 plus 2. Again, 5 minus 8 plus 2. 5 minus 8 equal negative 3 plus 2 equals negative 1. Okay, negative 1. Cubic root 7 as it is. But here I don't need this 1, then I'm going to cancel it. Okay, the result will be negative cubic root 7. The next one, 4 square root 5 minus 2 root 5 plus 5 root 5 minus root 5. All of them are like. Then I'm going to add the coefficients. 4 minus 2 plus 5 minus 1. Again, 4 minus 2 plus 5 minus 1. 4 minus 2 equal 2 plus 5, 7. Minus 1 equals 6. The result will be 6 square root 5. The next one, here we have square root 5 plus and 2 root 5 are like, okay, together. Here we have 1 root 5 plus 2 root 5 equals 3 square root 5. And here we have negative root 3, positive root 3. They are like negative 1 plus 1 equals 0. Then I'm going to cancel them like this. Okay, but I don't need to write 0 here. I'm going to leave 5 root 3, 3 root 5 without change. Okay, the next one. Here we have 2 root 7 and 5 root 7. 2 plus 5 and 1 root 7. 2 plus 1 plus 5. 2 plus 1 plus 5 equal 8 square root 7. And here we have negative 3 square root 2. Okay, I will leave this one. I can't add root 2 with root 7. Then I will drop down this one. Then I'm going to drop down negative 3 root 2 square root 2 like this. Okay, the next one. Here we have 2 square root 2 minus, okay, and 5 square root 2 are like, and the other roots are cubic root. Then they are all of them are not like. Okay, I'm going to collect the like numbers. Okay, 2 root 2 plus 5 root 2 equals 7 square root 2, and negative 3 cubic root 2 plus 1 square root 2, negative 3 plus 1 equals negative 2 cubic root 2. Okay, and this is the addition. Let's solve the next example. Here we have multiplication. Okay, the first I'm going to multiply negative 2 times 3 like this. It will be negative 6. And then I'm going to multiply root 5 times root 5. Root 5 times root 5 equals 5 times root 5 times root 5 equals 5. Okay, because root 5 times root 5 equal root 25, which is equal also 5 at the end. Okay, it will be negative 6 times 5 equals negative 30 at the end. Okay, number 2. Here we have root 5, cubic root 5 to the power of 3. Cubic root 5 to the power of 3 equals 5 times 3 root 3 as it is. And then I'm going to multiply 5 times 3, which is equal 15 square root 3. Okay, the next one. Here we have 2 root 3. I will make 2 root 3 over 1 times 2 root 7 over 7 divided 20 root 3 over 5 root 7. Okay, first I'm going to change divide operation in 2 times like this. I will write the first fraction 2 root 3 over 1 times 2 root 7 over 7. Divide will be time, and I'm going to change this fraction upside down. It will be 5 root 7 over 20 square root 3. Okay, and I'm going to collect all of them in one root, but here I have here root 3 up and root 3 down. I will cancel them together. Okay, and I will collect them in one fraction. I have here 2 times 2 times 5, 2 times 2 times 5 root 7. It will be 20 square root 7 2 times 2 times 5 equal 20, and root 7 times root 7 equals 7. It will be 20 times 7. Up. Down we have 1 times 7 times 20. It will be 1 times 7 equals 7 times 20. Finally we have, I'm going to cancel 7 with 7, and I'm going to cancel 20 with 20. Finally the result will be equal 1 because all of them are equal. Okay, the next one, number 4, we have here a bracket 2 times root 2 plus root 5. Okay, I'm going to distribute 2, multiply root 2. It will be 2 square root 2, and then 2 multiply root 5. It will be positive 2 square root 5. But now I can't add 2 root 5 plus 2 root 2 plus 2 root 5 because they are unlike. The next one. Now I'm going to multiply negative 2 root 5 times 3. Negative 2 times 3 equals negative 6. I'm going to write down root 5 without change. The next one, here we have negative 1. Then negative 2 times negative 1 equal positive 2. And root 5 times root 5 equal 5. Then I'm going to write here times 5. Okay, I'm going to simplify like this, negative 6 root 5 without change. But here 2 times 5 equals 10. Then I'm going to write the 10. Now I have negative 6 root 5 and 10. They are unlike, then I will leave them without change. Okay, the next one, I'm going to distribute root 7 times 2 root 2 times 2 over root 7, and root 7 times root 7, and root 7 times 3. The first one, here we have root 7 times 2 over root 7. I will cancel root 7 with root 7. Don't forget again, root 7 times 2 over root 7, cancel root 7 with root 7. Okay, and the remainder will be 2 like this. Okay, it's equal 2. Next, root 7 times negative root 7, it will be negative. Root 7 times root 7 equals 7. Okay, root 7 times 3 equal positive 3 root 7. But here we have 2 minus 7 are like, then I will add them. 2 minus 7 equals negative 5. It will be negative 5. And I'm going to drop 3 root 7 without change, plus 3 square root 7 without change. The next one, here we have 2 brackets. Okay, first I'm going to expand the first bracket. Okay, root 5 times 3 and root 5 times root 5. Like this, it will be root 5 times 3 equals 3 root 5. And root 5 times negative root 5 equals negative 5. Next, I'm going to expand the second bracket, negative 2 times 1 and negative 2 times 5. Okay, negative 2 times 1 equals negative 2. And the negative 2 times root 5 equals negative 2 square root 5. Now I'm going to collect the like terms together. Here we have 3 root 5 and the negative 2 root 5. It's equal 3 minus 2 equal 1. Root 5, I don't write 1. I will write root 5 direct. And here we have negative 5 and the negative 2 equal negative 7. and this the final answer, the next one. Here we have two brackets. Okay, I'm going to distribute root 3 among the first bracket like this. Okay, root 3 times root 3 equals 3, and root 3 times negative 1 equal negative root 3 or negative 1 root 3. Okay, the next step, I'm going to distribute 2 times root 3 and 2 times negative 1. Okay, here 2 times root 3 equal positive 2 root 3, and 2 times negative 1 equal negative 2. Okay, then I'm going to collect the like terms together. Here we have 3 like to negative 2, it's equal 3 minus 2 equals 1. Here I have to write 1 because I haven't root. The next one, we have negative root 3 and 2 root 3, negative 1 plus 2 equals 1. Okay, it will be positive 1 root 3, but I don't write 1 when we have a root. I will write root 3 directly like this. Finally, we have root 5 minus 1 all power of 2. Okay, in that case, we are going to expand this one by the rule. This rule is first power of 2 and 2 times first times second and second to the power of 2. Okay, here root 5 power of 2 equal 5. 2 times first times second, 2 times root 5 times negative 1, again 2 times root 5 times negative 1 equals negative 2 root 5, negative 2 root 5 like this. Then in the middle we have negative 2 root 5. Finally, we have negative 1 power of 2, which is equal positive 1. Okay, now I'm going to collect the like terms. Here 5 and 1 are like. 5 plus 1 equals 6. It will be 6, and drop negative 2 root 5, negative 2 square root 5, and this is the final answer. In this example, we have make the denominator in each of the following is an integer. Okay, here we have root 3 over root 3. To make the denominator, this fraction is not in the simplest form. Please remember this word. This fraction is not in the simplest form. Why? Because the denominator is not a whole number. The denominator must be a positive whole number. Then we are going to simplify this one. How come? By multiply up and down times the root. Again, multiply up and down times root 3. Okay, times root 3 up and down. Of course, root 3 over root 3 equal 1. Then we don't change the value of this fraction. Okay, the next step. I'm going to make a fraction, a dash like this. 3 times root 3 equals 3 root 3. And root 3 times root 3 equals 3. Then I'm going to cancel 3 with 3. 3 over 3 equals 1. Then it will be root 3. The next step. Here we have 10 over root 5. This one by multiplying up and down times root 5. Because it's not in the simplest form. Okay, it will be 10 times root 5 equals 10 square root 5, and root 5 times root 5 equal 5. Here we have 10 divided by 5 equal 2. And I'm going to drop down root 5. The final answer will be 2 square root 5. Here we have over root 2, then we are going to multiply up and down times square root 2. Okay, the next step, here we have, suppose we have a bracket here, we are going to distribute root 2 by the two numbers inside the root. Then root 2 times root 2 equal 2 plus 3 times root 2 equals 3 square root 2. Okay, root 2 times root 2 equal 2. Here, okay, I don't have any number can be cancelled with the 2, okay, because we have here plus sign, then I will leave this without change like this. Okay, the next example. In this example, we have here complete the additive inverse of this number. Okay, the additive inverse of this number is negative 6 over square root 2. But I will not write this one with this form because it's not in the simplest form. Then I'm going to multiply up and down as I explained before by root 2. Okay, it will be negative 6 times root 2 equals 6 square root 2. Root 2 times root 2 equals 2. And then I'm going to divide 6 divided by 2 equals 3. It will be negative 3 square root 2. Then the final answer here, negative 3 square root 2. Don't forget, you have to write this in the simplest form. The next one, the additive inverse of this bracket. Okay, now I'm going to change the whole sign of the bracket like this. Minus open bracket square root 2 minus square root 5. Negative sign here will change the whole bracket. Negative change the root 2 will be negative square root 2. And the negative change the negative sign here will be positive square root 5. The final answer, I will rearrange this one to be square root 5 minus square root 2 like this. It will be square root 5 minus square root 2. Okay, now I need the multiplicative inverse of this one. Here we have 1. Then by change this one upside down, it will be 1 over square root 5. By multiply up and down by root 5. Why? To make it in the simplest form. It will be root 5 times 1 equals root 5. And root 5 times root 5 equals 5. Root 5 over 5, we haven't more change than this. Then I will leave it like this, root 5 over 5. Here we have the multiplicative inverse of root 2 over 6. I'm going to make it upside down. It will be 6 over square root 2. And then I'm going to multiply up and down by root 2. It will be equal 6 times root 2 equals 6 root 2. And root 2 times root 2 equal 2. Finally, 6 over 2 equals 3. And we'll write down root 2 without change. The final answer will be in the simplest form, of course, equal 3 square root 2. Here we have a tricky one, 2 root 3. He needs the multiplicative inverse of this one. Okay, I'm going to upside down this one like this, 6, excuse me, 5 over 2 square root 3. Now I have here root 3. Then I'm going to multiply up and down by root 3. Okay, it will be like this. 5 times root 3 equals 5 root 3. And here I'm going to multiply root 3 by root 3. It will be 3. Then it will be 2 times 3. The next step, 5 root 3 without change. And 2 times 3 equal 6. I haven't simplified 6 with 5. Then the final answer will be 5 root 3 over 6. But here he wrote space over 6. Then this space included 5 square root 3. And this is the end of the lesson. I hope it was helpful for you. See you in the next video inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. Ahmed Mahmoud was with you.